Most people get stuck in the same routine. Work, make money, pay the bills, and repeat. It feels completely normal, but it's actually something we've been taught to accept since school days. The top 1%, the truly wealthy, see the system for what it is, and they opt out. They think differently, move strategically, and manage money in ways that compound their freedom, not just their income. If you're new here, hi, I'm Nisha. I'm a qualified accountant and a former investment banker. In this video, I thought it would be interesting to cover the 7 powerful shifts that can help you start thinking and growing rich, just like the 1%. Starting with number 1, your 25 words. You've probably heard the quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Essentially, it explains how the people you hang out with most shape what you believe, the habits you form, and even what you think is possible. I recently came across a podcast with Dr. Tara Swart that took this one step further. She says, draw a tree with 5 branches, and on each branch, write the name of one of the 5 people who influence you the most. Now describe each of them with 5 words, and then sit with those 25 words because, ultimately, that's a reflection of you. I did this exercise, and it can be really confronting and a little uncomfortable, but self-awareness is the prerequisite for growth. If you want to level up in any area of your life, look at those 25 words. Are they aligned with who you want to become? If not, maybe it's time to consciously expand your circle or start absorbing more content that includes people who carry the qualities you're looking for. Number 2. Own first, spend later. This is one of the most important ones on this list. Throughout my life, the people I know or have worked with, this is the one that separates the 1% from everyone else. They prioritize owning appreciating assets before spending on depreciating ones. They're laser-focused on building a portfolio of appreciating assets, things that grow in value over time. So, think property, long-term investments, or even specific types of education that lead to measurable returns. These are assets that work for you. They generate income, grow your net worth, develop your skill set, and create long-term value and freedom. Now, compare that to depreciating assets, things that lose value the moment you own them. A brand new car, the latest tech. They might hold value for a little while, but over time, they're worth less than what you originally paid for them. Then there are liabilities, which take this one step further. A liability is anything that consistently takes money out of your pocket. For example, a car loan is a liability. The car itself is a depreciating asset. Credit card debt is a liability. While not every depreciating asset is a liability, the two often team up, and that's where most people get trapped. Wealthy people know this. They don't avoid nice things. They just use the income from their appreciating assets to fund those purchases. They let their investments pay for their lifestyle, not their salary. This is how they keep building wealth while still enjoying life. Own first, spend later. Next, we have become obsessed with the idea of getting rich. Okay, obsessed sounds a little intense, but the top 1% don't become rich or ultra-wealthy by accident. No matter what they say, it's very rarely, "Oh, I stumbled upon it." Their success comes from a burning passion, a drive that fuels their mindset and keeps them pushing forward. In the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, he puts it perfectly. Desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which transcends everything. When you're obsessed with a goal, any goal, your subconscious mind goes into overdrive. Suddenly, you start noticing opportunities that might have gone right over your head before. When you have a strong desire for financial success, you begin to notice ways to create value, earn more, and save smarter. Not because these opportunities magically appear, but because you're now tuned in. So, how can you apply this? Set a specific financial goal that really excites you. Write it down, and put it somewhere you'll see often. It might be a savings target, a monthly income goal, or even a net worth milestone. Really understand your why behind it, why you want to do it, what your reasoning is for it. As you start tuning into this, your awareness shifts, and you start to see more opportunities that you'll take up, which you otherwise would have completely missed. Then we have plan well, act fast. The most successful people excel at taking their abstract desires and turning them into actionable, measurable plans. They don't just dream or wait for the right time. They map out their route to success and make things happen. Dr. Gail Matthews, a psychology professor, did a study on goal setting that proves just how powerful structure and accountability are. The study included 267 participants from different walks of life, and they were split into 5 groups, ranging from people who just thought about their goals to those who wrote them down, broke them into actionable steps, and shared weekly progress updates with a friend. The results showed a huge difference in success rates. Only 43% of those who just thought about their goal made significant progress, in contrast to 76% of those who wrote down their goal, created an action plan, and had regular check-ins. They were much more likely to achieve their goals or make huge moves toward them. So, take one goal you have, maybe it's launching a side hustle or investing for the first time, and break it down into 3 levels. First, the outcome. What's the big goal? Then, the milestones. What needs to happen each quarter to move the needle? Finally, the actions. What are the small steps you can take this week, ideally in the next hour? If this process feels a bit messy to do on paper or in your head, you can use a tool to make it much easier. That's where today's sponsor comes in, Xtiles. It's like a paper journal where you can create your own blocks for whatever you need, but digitally. You can map out ideas, plan projects, keep track of tasks, or just jot down random thoughts. It's super flexible, so you can set it up however you like instead of following a template. For example, you can set big goals on a yearly page, then break them down into monthly milestones and key tasks on your monthly page. There's also a weekly planning section to help you stay focused and on track every week. Right next to those planning pages, you've got everything you need: a calendar connected to your Google Calendar, a hub for your projects, and a task board where you can manage all your work in one spot. They also have a daily page, which is super handy. You can drop in notes, screenshots, links, anything you're working with, and move things around easily using the drag-and-drop tiles. It feels like your own personal worksheet for the day. Since it's digital, you can always come back to it, whether it's tidying up a brainstorm or laying out your day. If you've tried other productivity tools before and found them overwhelming, you might find this one much easier to use. It's simple, clear, and adapts to how you want to organize things. If this sounds like something you'd find useful, you can sign up for Xtiles using the link in the description below. Then you have Speak the Language of Possibility. In 2018, researchers in Germany studied the personality traits and habits of the wealthy, and they found that people with higher levels of wealth tend to be more conscientious and open to new experiences. In practice, this means they're more likely to focus on opportunity over limitation. This really stood out to me when I noticed a pattern with the people I was working with in banking and the clients I worked with. They'd be presented with a high-stakes opportunity, like a business deal or an investment, and their first thought wasn't, "Can I afford this?" Instead, they asked, "Will this make me more money?" If the answer was yes, they moved straight to, "Okay, how can I make that happen? How does it work?" They didn't get caught up in the price tag right away. They didn't shut the door before checking if there was a way in. Compare that to how most people think. They see the cost first, don't ask whether it's worth it, and just decide, "I can't afford that." Just like that, they cut themselves off from something that could have generated huge returns, whether in themselves, a business, or the market. This is why the language you use around money matters so much. When you default to, "I can't afford it," your brain shuts down. When you ask, "How can I afford this?" your brain gets to work. So, if you want to start thinking like the 1%, adopt their language. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about giving yourself the best shot at finding a way. This is how you shift from scarcity to creativity, from limitation to possibility. Next, we have leave luck at the door. We often talk about how luck plays a big part in our lives. I hear it so much, and a lot of it is about being in the right place at the right time. There is an element of luck, I agree, but I'm a big believer that you make your own luck. The reason I wanted to include this is that I was rereading the book Wild Courage by Jenny Wood recently, which is about figuring out what you want and going after it. In the first chapter, she talks about a guy she spotted on the subway. He was good-looking, seemed interesting, and she thought to herself, "If he gets off at my stop, I'll ask him out." He didn't. He got off a few stops earlier. Most people would have let that be the end of it, but she thought, "No, I don't believe in fate. I make my own fate." So she ran after him and said, "I spotted you on the train. I can't tell if you're married, you've got gloves on, but here's my business card. Long story short, they ended up getting married and now have 2 kids, all because she refused to leave it to chance. This is so far from conventional dating advice, and if she had listened to it, her life would look completely different right now. This is a perfect example of someone who knew what they wanted and took action. This mindset separates wealthy people from the rest. It's not magic or luck, it's the willingness to move even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, making your own luck. It's the mindset of, I might not have all the answers, but I'll take action and figure it out along the way. I love this book. So next time you catch yourself saying, maybe it just wasn't meant to be, pause, stop yourself, and ask, how can I take control here? How do I shift this from fate to intention? I know not everyone will agree with this point. Many people strongly believe in fate and destiny. But if you want to join the 1% club, the ones who build something extraordinary, you've got to be decisive, proactive, and willing to chase opportunities that others let pass by. Finally, we have build income that doesn't rely on you. One of the biggest mindset shifts I picked up from the truly wealthy is this. They're not just focused on earning money. They're focused on building income that works without them. They are intentional about creating passive income, the kind that keeps flowing whether they're on holiday, asleep, or spending time with their family. Contrast that with how most people operate. They earn an income, pay their bills, and repeat the same cycle the next month. Work, earn, spend, repeat. It feels normal because we've been taught this is the only path, the right path, the one that makes sense for everyone. From school days, we're conditioned to be good employees, work hard, stay consistent, and earn our way through life. That cycle of thinking traps you, and it doesn't just apply to people in 9-to-5 jobs. It applies to entrepreneurs, too, building businesses that demand all their time but create no long-term wealth. I had to stop myself from thinking this way. The top 1% know that the end goal isn't just to make money. It's to build income streams that keep going even when they stop. For example, if you invest just $100 a week consistently for 11 years, you could end up with over $100,000 invested. That's money working for you, not the other way around. That's the real difference between the average person and the ultra-wealthy. The average person trades time for money. The wealthy multiply money with time. So, if you want to build true freedom like the 1%, start thinking about how to earn passively, not just actively. There's only so much time you can give, so let your money work so you don't always have to. Those are 7 things to do to think and grow like the 1%. If you want more, you can always subscribe to this channel. I upload a video every week about money, mindset, personal development, and everything I'm learning to get to the 1% myself. I started posting my journey 2 years ago when I was working in banking full-time, and I share my stories, lessons, hardships, and wins along the way. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.